We're up live. Yeah, live from Austin, Texas.
The 14th today?
Today's the 14th of March, year of our Lord 2011.
Really?
Yeah, this is a paid acting gig.
Yes.
I mean,
it says you have to be upskilled.
Oh, that's why you asked.
I was asking, are you upskilled enough for this acting gig?
I'm going to submit myself. So, folks, we're live. It is 14 March 2011. Great show lined up. We've got
and the great Jeff Davis.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How you
Yes,
doing,
sir.
Gary?
I'm fine.
Good. Some people wanted me to mention that if you know who Derry Brownfield is,
I do.
He died on Saturday.
Oh my!
Of a heart attack. He was 79 years old, and he was on Genesis for a long time.
Yes.
And a lot of people in Austin know who he is. On this radio station, this
90.1,
nice radio station here in Austin.
I was a competitor with his when I was on the Liberty Works radio network.
really?
He was a great guy.
Yeah,
There he is.
Yeah, right there he is.
Yeah.
And died. So
Sudden death.
radio.
Heart
You know
attack.
who he is, Gary?
Yes, he was my kind of guy. You know?
Common sense.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like it's doing that thing again.
Yeah.
The internet might be slow. We can't play the real spin. Or?
I don't know. We
hope
got a
so.
professional in there tonight, though.
Oh, we
Lorraine.
do. Yeah. Well, yeah.
She fixed it a little bit. Congestion.
What we've got is we're going to update. Have you seen our terror watch list?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, you know how the U.S. government has a terror watch list: Hezbollah, Hamas, Al Qaeda.
You mean like when you go to the airport? No.
Yeah,
you mean the State Department is terrible.
Well, the Jeff Davis show, we have our own terror
yes,
watch
the Austin
list.
Police Department and
Williamson
our
County.
Acevedo. Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so
right.
we're gonna update that tonight.
All right.
And we've got
And we want to remind, if you could bring that slate up, Lorraine, about the Waco remembrance.
Yes.
We're going. Are you going with us, Gary?
When is it?
April 19th.
April 19th. The 18th anniversary.
You think you might want to go out? It's
Because
pretty
we'll have
good day.
plenty of room. If anybody needs any a ride there, give us a call at the comment line. And I think that's Clive's number. If you need to get directions to, it's real easy to find. It's right on I-35. Just when you pass Waco, look for it on the left hand side there. You went last year, Jeff.
The Jeff Davis show will be on location. And hopefully we'll get some interviews.
Would be good to get there at 10, and I think they're going to have dinner there this year where we don't have to run out to a restaurant because all the people talking and stuff, it takes a long time.
Then we can go out to Mount Carmel.
Then we go out to Mount Carmel after
check out the chapel. You might be interested in something.
Mount Carmel.
Absolutely.
He said he's talking about a 14-passenger bus.
Okay.
So
all right.
we'll have plenty of room, hopefully.
So
And if not, you can sit on the roof.
And the reason why
That's another room.
the reason why I think it's important, folks,
This is not India.
to continue talking about Waco, Texas, what happened there in 1993 is, regardless of what you think and you've heard about the Branch Davidians, Mike and I know many of them personally. We know it's really
And have known them since
it's a bunch of bullshit what they were
since it
saying.
happened.
But regardless of what you think about it, what we cannot have is what happened on April 19th, 1993, and that is government tanks driving government agents driving tanks into buildings occupied by men, women, and children. American men, women, and children. No less.
I remember.
We can't have that.
I remember back in 95, 94, 96, 97, when I used to work other jobs than my own business, and people used to corner me and says, I can't believe you think this and that about Waco and this and that. Those same people now are calling me up like 13, 14 years later and saying, you know what, you were right about that.
Well, folks, do you really want tanks driving through buildings occupied by men, women,
exactly,
and
because
the government.
It might be those cultists yesterday, but in the future it might be you and your family.
That's exactly right.
And that's what they're starting to realize, that nobody, and you can't discount anybody. They'll come after anybody.
Yeah,
Drug war, IRS. IRS is let me tell you, IRS is starting to ramp up again. Have y'all noticed that?
Really?
They're starting to ramp up. They called me on the phone the other day. They actually called me on my cell phone, and I always play a joke. This is a funny thing. Every time somebody, is this Mr. Hanson? I said, if it's the IRS, forget it. I say that to everybody. You know, when even if I don't know who they are.
And this time it was the IRS.
She goes, this is the IRS, Mr. Hanson. And I said, ma'am, I say that to everybody.
They called you too.
Yeah, they're starting to ramp up again.
They shouldn't be calling you on the phone. They should be sending you a letter in the mail.
Well, they've done that too. But what I'm saying is they called me up to, want to know if I was going to make the payments on time and this and that, which, I agree with Alex on this issue. You better have your papers in order and, fight that battle later. Because they'll put you in jail for this stuff.
Oh yeah,
and they will break your door down with guns.
Oh, yeah.
Over $2,000 or $3,000. They'll take your whole account. They'll take your house.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's some videos. There's a guy named Robert Carey in Las Vegas. They came in. He had a business. They came in with a Jeep, knocked his fence down. So my opinion is, keep your papers in order, and then, live to fight another day. And, we've been fighting a long time, Jeff, to
wake people up.
To wake people up. And I think it's starting to work.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's millions of people out here,
really?
I know a lot of people don't agree with this Charlie Sheen thing, but he was able to get 1.5 million people on his Twitter account in a day. I think that's amazing. Look how much power that is. You can put out a message. He can put out, the Federal Reserve is a fraud, and get it out to 1.5 million people.
Yeah.
If he would do that. I don't, but what I'm saying is anything we can get out there is great.
Well,
I think.
the thing you and Nate did with the Waco thing, with this announcement, we got a response out of Wyla, Wendy Taylor.
Well,
so we're getting.
But I think we need to work on something like what they're doing. Get some kind of
I think we'll get a
Twitter account and get it built up to 20,000, 30,000 people, where in case something happens, we can get it out there.
Yeah, we are.
We can work on that.
You were talking about 93, 94 when people had different attitude. Then you had the media, control media. They were brainwashing everybody. Now, but thanks to Twitter and Facebook, we bypass the media.
Let me tell you, I had people at work where I was working at the time just about wanted to beat me up and jack me up over just the opinion of having a different opinion of what they were seeing on the news. So I think things are starting to change a lot.
Well, they don't trust the news anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Anything they say, I just say the opposite.
Yeah, but your friends still trust the news.
Who?
Your friends.
No. There's a lot of people out there. Matter of fact, a lot of people out there don't even watch the news anymore.
That's right. See,
they get their information otherwise.
That's right.
So I'm proud to hear that. But let me just say what's on the news right now, Jeff.
Yeah, maybe we can
show some of this. Maybe
what are these? The slaves?
We do
the
have
slaves scrambling for the last scrap.
And I know there's a lot of people, even TAG, which is a great group, Nate. There's nothing wrong with TAG. Have said that they don't even want to take this issue on because it's too politically, it's not popular, and I don't care if it's popular or not. And I was just talking to a few people out here in the hall, and they agree with me. So I don't know if we're just at the studio and people agree with me.
Do we have that footage, Lorraine?
But let's
show some of this footage.
Yeah, let's just show some of it, and then we can talk about it.
What are these, the slaves fighting for the last scrap?
Somebody fighting over the last piece of pie. And my point of it is, if you're fighting over... Is that it?
Yeah, that's
there they are.
Of it, yeah.
They're fighting over the last little scraps of money that the schools need. My whole point is, if they're fighting over the little bit of scraps that they've paid in, why not just cut the head off the slave master to start off with?
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
And let's don't have a gun to our head like the IRS. This is a local deal, I guess. They're taking our property tax, school taxes, and putting a gun to our head and saying, if you do not pay these taxes, we're going to come to your house with a gun and take your children's home away. You'll be on the street, Jeff.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that government operates off coercion.
I don't care if you get rid of 2 or 3 librarians. I know it's going to piss a lot of y'all off. some of these social, they say, oh, we're going to have to get rid of 6 social workers. Oh, I hope you do get rid of 6 social workers and a lot more, Gary. I hope you get rid of all of them. To tell you the truth. And just like, I don't think Ross will mind us saying this, but I was talking to Ross out in the hallway. He said he didn't care if they got rid of all the schools.
Well,
and I agree with that. Jimmy, come on in.
Yeah, come on
and
in,
this is
Jim.
the last show that Jimmy was doing over here. Y'all were all in there arguing over the last little bit of scraps.
Hey, Jimmy.
There he is.
The
last,
where did you get your start, Jimmy Ritter?
the last
On the Jeff Davis show.
That's right.
Hey, the last known Republican.
The last known Republican, that's right. And all to Jeff Davis.
Are you still a Republican?
Yes, sir.
I
Sure am.
boy, oh boy.
But here's what-
they've done a lot of damage from my perspective.
Well, who hasn't?
Those Sean Hannity types, man, just death and devastation everywhere.
But
Wars
Jimmy,
on terror,
you just had
wars
2
on-
people. What were those 2 people on your show arguing over
That
the
was-
last little scraps?
Yeah, 10-4 arguing over there. Well, we got to do something here.
We do.
Yeah.
How about let's just let's
We got to. Y'all should
how
have been
about
at the
let's
Capitol
just
Saturday.
how about
You know
let's
that.
give the money back to the people they stole
Mike-
it from?
Mike-
Hey,
Mike-
Nobody
Mike-
argued that point.
Mike wants to fire all the teachers.
I didn't say that. I
Well,
said if we
so-
want
Wait a minute, Mo.
to. Here's my point.
She got her
If
start
we
on
want
Jeff
to,
Davis.
if we want to pay for the teachers, we'll pay for them. If the people that are their children going to school, yes,
No. You get the
No.
superintendents to quit that $300,000 a
Yeah,
year
that's
status
true.
salary.
that's
true.
good. That's a good start. Just like the lawyer deal, that's a good
$275,000.
start.
Hey, $275,000 a year, as in like 2009, with plus a $25,000 bonus. So you got $300,000 for paper pushers. They don't do crap. They're not on the front lines with
Watch
their
your
kids.
language.
I agree with that.
Hey, I
Okay,
said crap.
but
Don't allow me
if-
to put crap on
But
here.
if we want to pay for these teachers, we'll pay for them voluntarily. We don't need somebody with a gun coming to our house stealing our children's
Oh,
home.
look at that lovely.
That's my whole point,
Wow.
Gary. That I think it's a good point.
Gary says,
Oh, no one loved Gary Johnson.
where'd you get your start, Chris Ritter?
Hey! I'm the #1 groupie.
20 years ago.
It's Jeff!
20 years ago. So,
Yeah.
15 years.
Now you all are famous and your stuff's out
No,
all
we're not famous.
shit,
We're still
we
a
all
trailer
are.
famous.
Shit,
Yeah,
we
the
all are.
Subject of
What
TV
we-
commercials and everything.
What are we going to do about keeping this station on the air?
Well, that's an
Well,
issue.
we had that. Gary's working on that
Get some
issue.
of
Yeah.
those superintendents to give us their money.
Yeah.
That's an issue we got to keep on toes. Make sure future generations
This place is
enjoy the
historic
same
down here.
opportunities as we've had.
Uh-huh.
He was there. He was at the.
Saturday,
you
You
were
were
at the
sitting up
meeting?
front. You were. I thought you remember the board or something. You went,
On there. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's
you
right.
were
I
sitting
didn't
at the
get to
table
sit there
there.
on the
I
table.
thought,
and,
wow! I thought got a promotion.
All right,
well,
honey.
all right.
Go home, Miss
I
Rascal.
Y'all
appreciate
go home.
you,
Y'all go
Jeff.
home
Okay,
and
Jimmy,
play.
I love you,
I
brother.
appreciate
Yeah.
you too, Gary, because we know you're doing a good thing, and I'm not.
And I'm still looking for a free couch on Craigslist for you.
And I'm not completely Republican. I have been hanging around with the We Are Change. Also.
Oh yeah, they're great. I'm a member
You look
of
at
the.
someone like Sean Hannity, man.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of damage.
Hey, Jeff. I call him the Robot Republican.
Well, what about is he part of that?
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. Did you know
those
that
guys.
that
Robot Republican.
War on terror.
But let me just
war
mention
on
this.
drugs,
Let me mention
war
this.
on any lifestyle they don't
Alex
like.
Jones' website is 2,000 compared to Bill O'Reilly is at 48,000. That tell you how the freedom movement's going
Yeah,
right now.
I know.
Did you hear that?
Well, no,
the
but-
lower you are, the better you are. 2,000 for Alex Infowars and 48,500 for Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That'll tell you something right there. Nobody's listening to Bill O'Reilly anymore.
Done a lot of that.
That's
for
because
Jimmy.
Alex has Charlie Sheen on his show.
No, he was there way before Charlie Sheen.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay, Jimmy. Good.
Okay, that's all. I'm gonna get.
Well-
you need to go audition for that part, so you could be on 2.5 Men. You could be the other.
I've got one right
The
here.
other-
I'm going to
other-
work on too. I hope so.
2.5 Men. Get on there and take us all to Hollywood.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I need to come down there with you. I wonder if they'll take a handicapped people.
What for this?
Yeah, that's,
Probably. Yeah.
movie stuff, right?
Yes, sir. Paid acting work.
Can't discriminate.
Give me a call, Jimmy.
Okay, Lorraine's coming in here.
Before we do that, though, you're tell us
Lorraine.
what's going on because we're going to get to the terror
What's
watch
going on in
list.
Gonzales?
Yeah, what's going on with the Gonzales City Council and what's going on there?
Well, I can. If you really want to know, I could probably try to get the newspaper lady on real quick for about 5 minutes to tell you. But they've indicted two. Let's see, a city councilman and somebody that was running for city council, a reverend. on felonies. On felonies. If we can bring it up, maybe they can bring it up there. They have their pictures on the...
A city council member in
city
Gonzales,
councilman,
Texas has been indicted for
10
vote
felonies.
fraud.
10 felonies. Was it 10
Oh,
felonies?
look at that. Pleads guilty to acts of voter fraud, resigns.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, they got
he's
it up
guilty.
there.
Boy, well, City of Gonzales
So, wait. What's going to happen to
Well,
him? Get a slap on the wrist? Or
No,
what?
I don't think so this time. They really watch. But remember when I ran for city council in Gonzales, Texas, back in 2006? I told you that they were cheating. Remember? I put out a press release, but they're not going to go back. They said they're going to go back just 2 elections. They're not going to go back to my election, even though they've admitted it that it was that they cheated.
Well, I've
What
been
were
saying
they
it.
doing?
What are they doing?
Yes.
I don't know. I can get the newspaper lady.
What do you plead guilty to?
I might be able to get the newspaper lady to call in here if you really want to know. She probably would. The one that wrote she's the one that pushed it. Her name is Nikki Maxwell. She pushed that.
Now, let me just ask you: doesn't it seem that the city of Gonzales, the leadership in Gonzales, Texas, has really slipped since the Jeff Davis show?
Well, of course, they fired the city manager over this horse
They
deal.
fired the city manager over the horse deal.
Yeah.
See,
So I mean,
so
that's what I believe.
But this guy pled
you're
guilty
getting in the paper down
to
there.
doing something. Was he stuffing the ballot box physically, or
No, what I understand they were doing, they were going around to different people and getting their voter's card,
Yes.
and checking disabled and sending it in, and it was something we need to get her on to make sure. But like out of
And if you're
100,
disabled, you don't
Yeah.
have to physically go down there. You can vote at home.
that's
or
right.
something.
But like out of 100 votes, you got 85 disabled people in a small town. That's that's pretty obvious. And this reporter that's new, she was new at the time in Gonzales, caught on to it. But they've been doing this a long time. That they did it to me.
in your election,
They did it to me in my election, and I was
I
winning.
remember you saying you thought there was fraud.
I put out a press release and said it is fraud.
Well, frankly, I think the elections all over the country are.
I agree with you.
not honest,
I agree
they're
with you. And
dishonest.
see, we have paper ballots. So in other parts of the country, they have this electronic voting. That's even worse.
well, you still have paper ballots.
We still have paper ballots. So they were able to go back and get fingerprints off this. That's how they caught them. The FBI got fingerprints off of the cards that they were checking disabled and falsifying
the
signatures.
same person was turning. What was? The
Well,
point
one of
the
them admitted doing it. I don't know if the
Uh-huh.
preacher admitted doing it yet, and I understand it's going to go further than that too. I don't want to mention any names. It's right on the article. If you want to go to GonzalesCannon.com.
Put that up again one time, Lorraine, if you'd be so nice.
They have their pictures, mugshot pictures there and everything.
Good.
So there she is, Nixie. If you want to get a hold of Nikki Maxwell right there about other voter fraud around, she'll probably write something about that.
Yeah.
Grant and Rocha never finished filing paperwork. They tried to take a plea deal, and they ended up the grand jury.
They pleaded guilty.
No, the grand jury ended up indicting them. They're going to go to trial now.
Yeah.
So,
So, the city of Gonzales, Texas. The reason why I bring that up because in the updated version of the Jeff Davis Show Terror Watch list,
yeah.
we've inserted the Gonzales city leadership.
Well,
That'll be coming up.
Some
here
of
in a
them
little
deserve
bit.
it, and some of them don't.
Well, I
About
think.
half and half, I'd say.
Yeah, well, they've made the terror watch list. So
Well,
they're right
taking
in there.
people, anybody's. Here's what.
But mainly due to these draconian ordinances.
Anytime somebody's taking somebody's liberty away, I think they're a terrorist.
Yeah,
How about
that's right.
that?
I
That's a
agree.
good idea. I
you
think
agree
we ought to
with
just
that,
say that, Gary.
That's a real terrorist.
Anybody's terror, and just like these, they might be all, giggly and everything out. All these mothers and fathers out here. I don't think it's that many fathers. I didn't see them. I see a lot of women out here, women and children. What'd you say the other day? They're asking for the Communist Manifesto to come into play.
Well, we've already documented
You didn't say that
public
just now.
education is a plank of the.
So they're
Communist
over there demanding us to go under communism.
That's pretty much.
They're have signs and they're demanding. That's kind of harsh. But
That they get more money for one of the planks in the communist.
begging a
manifesto.
slave master for more
That's right.
whippings.
That's right.
And I just don't agree with it. I say if you're going to do something, just cut the head off. Just like, we might as well just keep paying the IRS until we get rid of them altogether. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I can't get out of paying these school taxes, even though my kids have been out forever.
That's right.
And
That's
my
right.
mother's kids have been out for 25 years. She's still paying $6,000 a year in property taxes. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Right over here in Travis Heights. They're paying a bundle over here in Travis Heights to live in a $20,000. She paid $20,000 for a house, Gary, in 1973.
Oh, really?
She paid $20,000. They got it estimated about $699,000 now.
Oh, yeah.
Same house.
Yeah.
Now you explain that one.
Yeah, our property taxes went up too.
Explain how a house can go up from $20,000 in 1973 to $699,000.
I can't explain it. Actually, the Federal Reserve created a housing
There
bubble,
you go.
and it was all done.
That's what I wanted
years
you to
ago.
say. I knew he would.
Okay, so
Lorraine.
what we're going to do now is we're going to let's see if we can run some of the real spin because we didn't do it last week.
Okay, you want to do it now?
Yeah, if it'll work. It looks like it was slow again.
Do you want me to try to get that Nikki on there for about 5 minutes?
Yeah, if you could.
Because he might have some questions
Yeah,
for
if
us.
you could. Yeah.
All right.
So can we go get the
Lorraine?
real spin? Remember, folks, for information on our
if you need a ride.
if you'd like, to go on up to Waco, Texas, April 19th of this year with the 18th year of the slaughter. 18 years ago on the 19th, 80-something
And you're
people
going to have a
were murdered.
certified bus driver.
Certified bus
You want me to show
driver.
you my class
Right
driver's
there
license?
it is. We're promoting it. The Jeff Davis Show will be on location there. And if you'd like to come,
I still have my bus driving.
it's a pretty good deal.
License,
Nice
Jeff.
memorial service, and then
It's a great deal.
And
when you meet these people, I'm sure a lot of.
Then we go to Mount.
Hey, we had them down here one year. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
And we had a bunch of people come down here. Remember that?
We chartered a bus one year too.
But
Took
I
a
mean, we
couple
had
of
them all
buses
come
up.
here one year.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Clyde back on again on the 18th to promote this again.
Good.
So
And that'll be the day. Okay, good. So right there, 512-292-0070.
And if you want to go with Jeff Davis and myself and maybe Gary, are you going, Gary?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, we'll see y'all
I'm
then.
not sitting on top of the bus.
Hopefully, maybe Gary Teague.
I'm going to be inside
Okay.
the bus.
Where's your other co-host here?
Gary Teague.
Gary and whoever else.
Yeah. Well, we're
trying
gonna
to sneak
let's see
out.
if you can get the get that
Okay. Let me call her.
see if you can get the real spin up
That
too,
would be
Mike.
very interesting.
All right, now joining us in the studio, Mr. Gary Teague.
Hello, sir.
Gary, we've been talking a little bit about Waco. What's your April 19th was 18th years 18-year anniversary when those tanks drove through that building with those kids in there.
Yeah, I'll never forget that morning when I was watching the news, and they were showing those tanks rolling.
Well, keep in mind though, Gary, there was allegations of child abuse in there. So they had to go in there and kill those kids to prevent that child abuse.
Yeah, I think the key word there, Jeff, is allegations.
The Texas Child Protective Services, they investigated that.
That's right.
We've got it on video. The head of it is saying there's no truth to any of it. So
If there had been any truth to that, they would have gone down to those people like a ton of bricks before that. So there was nothing there to those allegations.
Yep. So we're going up there and maybe get some video and do some interviews. It's a pretty good time. They have the memorial service. Then we'll probably go over to Mount Carmel. Have you been to Mount Carmel?
No, I never have.
See, we built the chapel up there in 2000.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
remember.
nice big chapel.
Yeah, I remember watching that when y'all were building it, and that was really nice.
Yeah. So we're going to go up there, and I think it's an important issue because, like I say, I just don't think we can have a government that drives tanks into buildings with men, women, and children inside.
Yeah, because if they do it for them, just like Mike was saying earlier, what's to stop them from, our families, for whatever reason, just.
Well, Waco wasn't the first. A few years earlier in Philadelphia, there's Ruby Ridge, and then there's Move, when they dropped a bomb on this house and burned down the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, that was majority black people.
That's right.
Yeah, so they've done. The government's killed people on massive scales before, and I've vowed there'll be no more Wacos in Texas. As long as I'm alive, if I ever see the environment where they're going to do that same type of thing, I'm going to try to be there on location covering it. Because I Frankly, I just think the government got away with
I just got a
murder.
hold of the reporter. She's going to be calling in.
Okay, cool.
All right. This will be
Okay.
Nikki Maxwell.
Nikki Maxwell, a reporter from the Gonzales Cannon. Okay, so yeah, we'll take her call and find out what's going on in Gonzales, Texas. Are we going to be able to play the? By the way, folks, check us out on Facebook. Jeff Davis Show. Still not a Facebook guy yet. Huh?
No, I'm not a member of Facebook.
Well,
I see. Yeah, this is the wave of the future: the Twitter and the Facebook, and this is.
Wait till she calls in.
You don't realize this, but your face and video is going all over.
I realize it.
Facebook now because of these photos.
Yes,
and stuff.
Lorraine is taking all these pictures. And
That's right. You knew that?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Yeah, cool.
I'm just not on Facebook myself. But
Yeah,
yes, I know.
but Gary's too. Gary's
Yeah, I
all over
finally-
there too.
I finally joined in. You know, there for
Yeah.
a while I was kind of.
And so, like I say, Facebook, folks. And what about the real spin, Mike? Or are we waiting for Nikki to call in? Okay. And go ahead, Gary.
I was just wondering with somebody Gonzales if that Western that they were supposed to make over there. I wonder if that.
I haven't heard anything more. Have you heard anything more about that Western that's shooting in Gonzales, Mike? Oh, we didn't get picked then, obviously. Boy, what a loss for them. Huh? Boy, oh boy. They didn't pick Jeff Davis and Gary Teague. Big loss. A huge loss for the movie. Okay, and there's Miss Lorraine. Let's squeeze Lorraine in here. Miss Lorraine, an artist, is joining us. Tell us, in July, you're planning to move to South Korea. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell us about
I just
that.
accepted a job, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'll be teaching 5-year-olds over there, and hopefully I'll continue with the graduate school, but online. But I just really would like to go overseas for a year, and I thought that would be a nice thing to do at this time.
South Korea.
So you're going to be teaching 5-year-olds. Are you going to
Yes.
be teaching them English?
Yes, I'm going to be teaching them English, but that's kind of like what I was teaching when I taught 5-year-olds before. I used to be a teacher, so I'm excited to be teaching again. I miss working with children and working in the call center. Of course, it made me really technically proficient, and I'm really good back there, but I miss working with the kids, so I'm really excited about this. And did you know that Japan got hit by a big earthquake?
Yes.
Yeah, I was so worried. I thought that they got a tsunami in Masan, but they didn't. They were actually okay because the landmass
Yes.
protected them from the earthquake and the tsunami. So California got hit with tsunamis, but
Right.
not Korea.
Hawaii, yeah.
It's really funny how,
do you
that
feel
works
about
like that.
life? What do you think life will be like in South Korea?
Well, I think it would be a whole lot different. For one, I won't
I'd
know
say.
the language. I might actually get to learn a little bit more about real communism, seeing how it's so close to North Korea and China. I've read about it, I've talked about it a lot, but I've never really seen firsthand what real communism is like.
Well, I don't know, Lorraine. According to the 10,
I don't know. We've got it right here.
according to the 10 flakes of the
According-
Communist Manifesto, we've had them all here in the last 70 years or so.
Well, it's like the Democrat Party is really pushing communism as far as economic issues goes, and the Republican Party is really pushing communism as far as socialist issues goes.
Wars
And, like,
on drugs and wars
Yeah,
on
war-
pretty much any lifestyle they don't agree with. That's the Sean Hannitys of the world. Have a
wars
war.
on everything.
Have wars on everything.
So, Lorraine, you're going to live in Seoul or where?
No, Masan.
I don't know where that is.
It's right up on against the ocean on the south side, but
On
it's
the
on
south.
the inlet. I was worried about that, and I goes, well, like, what if I get a storm surge from a typhoon, and I was asking them about this, and they thought I was paranoid, and like, I'm not paranoid. I'm from Texas. I saw Galveston devastated. I saw New Orleans devastated, and I know what happens with these storm surges. So I'm not, I'm being practical here, but they're gonna put me in a second floor apartment, so I'm sure I'll be fine.
You have to come down to the first floor every once in a while, though.
Well, yeah, but there's lots of mountains there, so I feel if they have a typhoon or something, I'll go evacuate and go to the hills. But at the same time, if there's any type of flooding, since I'm on the second floor, my things will be okay.
Yes.
Hey, while you're over there, you can watch this show in South
That's
Korea.
right. Also,
I know I can, but
Yeah.
you know what I'll be teaching?
Well,
8 o'clock on Mondays, I'll be teaching. It's 11 o'clock Tuesday in South Korea. And I thought, well, how can I do this? I might have to, make an excuse to take a break or something so I can call into the show.
Make the kids watch the show.
Oh, I'd love that.
It's English.
Yeah, I'll make it a lesson.
you to keep it
Kids
close.
can watch the show, and then that will be their English lesson.
Okay, folks. Go ahead, Gary.
I was going to say there's a lot of Korean language programming here on Public Access. You can learn Korean watching the channels 10 and 16.
Well, is she calling Mike, or what's the deal? Yeah.
Yes. All right,
Okay.
well,
I guess we'll go ahead and move into now. I want to preface this. Everyone here pretty well knows that the U.S. government, they have, their terror watch list.
Hezbollah.
Hamas, Al Qaeda, and so we just feel that it's
Tea parties.
Yeah, Tea Party. We just feel that it's appropriate, and we've done this for several years, to have our own version of the terror watch list. So we're going to go ahead and this is an updated version. So let's go ahead and go to the Jeff Davis Show Terror Watch List. And then I want to ask you all something about the Texas State Legislature after this.
Okay. So is this a video we're going to watch?
No, this is right there.
It's a graphic.
Updated Terror Watch List. Okay, now number one, this has been number one since we started this. And I think it goes without saying that the authorities in Williamson County, Texas, we've gotten reports of people being beat to death in the jails, people being beat to death in the streets, actually people disappearing. There was back in 1991, there was a Georgetown city councilman named George Ouroros, who actually was exposing what he believed corruption within the larger Williamson County environment, and he just disappeared. His truck and his clothes and everything were all in his house. He just disappeared, hadn't been seen since. So that makes you wonder. So
That's Williamson County.
That's Williamson County. So that
Well,
go ahead, Gary.
I was going to say that I had a guest on my radio show a couple of weeks ago, Luann Anderson. She was talking about what's going on in Williamson County, a really bizarre story. There's the county judge, who is not a judge, he's just like the mayor of the county. He was accused of something, and he was by the county attorney who was going to prosecute him. Well, what happened was that the county judge got a good lawyer who argued that under Texas law, there's something called the forgiveness doctrine. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
It is the idea that an elected official, a county elected official, is forgiven for any crimes they may have committed in office if they are reelected.
Wow! I never knew about that.
And so it's on the books. And so this county judge who was accused of some corruption, he got off scot-free because he had been reelected since he had allegedly committed the acts that he was accused of. And this was in Williamson County. This is how amazing things are there.
Well, we've got literally, I've gotten with emails and reports and interviews, 2,000 or 3,000 different people alleging, things from just simple abuse, taking people to jail for not having your in-date insurance card in your car or something, just
Jail for that.
And then fines, probation, all the way up to, like I say, people being beaten to death, and so that's
number one on your list.
Yeah, right now we'll keep Williamson County, the authorities in Williamson County, Texas, number one on the list. Number two, if we can go to the USDEA. Now, this also goes without saying. These guys run around wearing black ski masks, blowing things up. And did you know that?
Absolutely. And, they're supposed to be fighting the drug lords. They are the drug lords.
They are. They're just a higher finance drug.
Yes.
Yeah, but they run around with ski. They go down to Columbia and places like that, and they say things like, we think this little airport here is being run for drug trafficking. They just blow it up. Just blowing stuff up. Ski masks and I mean, that's pretty much a terrorist, wouldn't you say, Lorraine?
I would say so. That does sound like a terrorist to me.
Yes. So U.S. DEA stays at number 2. Number 3, we've got the awesome police. We can't leave the chief of police off of this list. This guy, to me, and I agree with Gary Teague, he's a wannabe 2-bit dictator. And anything that empowers the state, that's what he wants.
Yeah, he cares about the top. He's the guy who does what, I don't want to say the New World Order. That's kind of, but it's not the police officer on the beat. He's doing what the people at the top want.
Yes, he's the administrator of the people at the top, and so the city of do you all agree with that? City of Austin, number 3. I mean, they're pretty. They can be. They've killed a lot of people over the last 10 years too.
Yes,
shot and killed a lot of people. So has Williamson County too.
So many people out there think the police are angels, though, and that they should get more power. I don't get people like that.
I absolutely agree with you. Okay. Number. Let's see what we got here. Number 4. Oh, this is a new one.
They've moved up.
Yeah, they've moved up.
Texas City Council.
Due to the recent draconian ordinance proposals, I think the Gonzales City Council probably deserves to be in that terror list. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, I think that's a good fit for them at number 4 position.
Whatever happened?
Right ahead of Hamas.
Whatever happened to the horse ordinance?
Right on time.
No, the horse ordinance is dead.
It's dead.
Okay, Nikki's her name?
Yes.
Oh, she's a reporter with the Gonzales Cannon?
Yes.
Okay. Hello? Was this Nikki?
It is. Hi. How are you?
Hi, ma'am. I'm Jeff Davis. This is the long-running Jeff Davis show based out of Austin, Texas. And Mike Hansen has been informing us about really what I consider to be quite a bit of shenanigans going on with the Gonzales city leadership. And we took a look at your article here. Could you elaborate a little bit about what's going on with this one city council member and about this voter fraud?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Basically, what happened was approximately 2 years ago, we had a city councilman, Mr. Russell Grant, who was assisting a candidate for city council for a different seat and going door to door. And the two of them are charged with basically election tampering, election misconduct, and putting false information on mail-in ballot applications. What they were doing was telling people when they went to their homes, telling them to just sign the form, that it was a new form of early voting, and that they would fill out the rest of the information for them. Well, what the people didn't realize is that Mr. Grant and Mr. Roaches and I believe other people were involved, were marking them as disabled in order to get a ballot mailed to their house. But when in fact, when we went back and looked over the approximately 100 mail-in ballot applications for that election, 83 of them that were marked disabled were not disabled.
Wow.
They were actually, just hardworking folks, didn't have any physical problems to prevent them from going to the polls themselves. In many cases, when I called them to talk to them about it, they did not even know that they were marked disabled.
Nikki, let me. We're looking at a picture of you up here. I want, being a newspaper reporter, would you go too far to say now that at least the elections in Gonzales, Texas, are dishonest?
I believe that the election process itself is flawed throughout our country. I think what's happened in Gonzales is basically a symptom of a national illness, and it really needs to be looked at seriously, from whether it's a little town in Texas to a capital city. It's got to get some attention, because for every case such as this, that is exposed, just imagine how many aren't. Just imagine how many cases or how many situations where election tampering is happening every year and nothing is being done about it. That's what I think this is really symbolic of, is that, you know, if it can happen here, it can happen anywhere.
I agree with you. Go ahead, Gary.
I was going to ask you a couple of questions, Nikki. First of all, how did you find out that these people who were listed as disabled were not disabled?
Well, what I did was I did a public information request for all the mail-in ballot applications through the city, and I went through the phone book, and I basically let my fingers do the walking. I didn't know any of these people. I called them. I told them who I was and why I was calling, and I simply asked them. And none of them really, denied anything. None of them were afraid to talk to me because they didn't realize that anything had been done wrong.
Right.
And many of them, when they found out what happened and realized it, they felt very betrayed. They were very upset. This is a councilman and a local Baptist preacher that was the candidate. That people that they've grown up with in many cases, people they trusted, that they knew, and that were part of their community, and they were very upset.
Okay.
So I'll just say it's something that definitely shook this whole community apart.
Now, Nikki, I want to ask you, I'm trying to understand how this benefited the candidate. So somebody gets a ballot from the door-to-door person, and does the door-to-door person get to cast their vote for them, or how does that work? I don't understand how it benefits a particular candidate.
Well, that's a really good question as far as how does it benefit the candidate. I guess the simplest answer for that, there's many different answers, but I guess the first answer is it puts a ballot in the hand of someone that may not necessarily go to the polls and vote.
Yes.
Which was probably their primary motivation. Secondly, when they were going door to door to these people, they told several of them to call them when the ballots came in and that they would come back to their house and help them vote. Yeah. Now, I don't know about you, but that is a problem. Not only is that a big red flag, but it's illegal. A candidate cannot come and stand in your living room and tell you how to vote. Wow. It's completely inappropriate, and it's illegal. The candidate in question, Mr. Charles Roaches, both of the men are very nice, but it doesn't matter. In this situation, illegal is illegal. And I had people telling me that they were told how to vote, how to sign his name on there because he was a write-in candidate. His name was not printed on the ballot. But in many cases, the people told me they felt harassed, that these two gentlemen kept coming back to them multiple times in 1 week asking them, did you get your ballot yet? Where is it? Let me see it. Don't worry about it. I'll turn it in for you. There are some situations where some of the people filled out affidavits claiming that the two gentlemen left their home with their ballots. Now, that is illegal also. A candidate and no one other than a relative of the person voting is authorized to transport your ballot. If you're mailing it back, that's one thing. But if you're giving it to someone in their hand and they're not a relative, and especially for a candidate, that is illegal.
Yeah.
Nikki, I want to ask you another question.
Yes.
You are in Gonzales. You're familiar with the city council there and the candidates and so forth. We're in Austin. We don't know anything about the election there. So can you tell us what election were we talking about? Were there two candidates in running for separate seats, or who was running? And one was a write-in candidate or something. Can you kind of tell us what election are we talking about and kind of set the stage for us?
The election that we're discussing in this case is the 2009 municipal election happening in, early voting was in April of 2009. The poll date was in May. Mm-hmm. There are some discussion and some allegations about the election fraud that people believe occurred in 2008 in the year prior. That involved the mayor of Gonzales and another councilman for a different district. Although there were some affidavits and a petition of more than 300 citizens asking the district attorney to investigate that, but since that was before our current district attorney gained her seat, she did look into it a little bit, but she said due to manpower limitations and the fact that it was before her watch, and that although she wrote this in a letter, she said, although she believes election misconduct occurred in 2008 also, she said that she couldn't investigate or prosecute that, but she did move forward with the 2009 investigation. An interesting point on this is that a little more than a year ago now, when that investigation was completed for the 2009 election, the district attorney announced that a plea deal had been reached with Mr. Roaches and Mr. Grant. And Mr. Grant, the councilman at that time, stepped down and resigned his seat on the council and agreed to cooperate with the district attorney's office in exchange for probation. The situation as it developed in the last month or so is that the district attorney's office learned that that probation process was not followed through by Mr. Roaches and Mr. Grant. Therefore, she took the case to the grand jury where they were indicted last month.
All right, we are looking at the resignation letter on the screen of Russell Grant, but I'm still trying to understand something, Nikki. In May 2009, first of all, how big is the Gonzales City Council? How many members does it have?
What's our population?
No, how many members does the Gonzales City Council have?
Oh, there's four city councilmen and one mayor, so 5 council members total.
All right, and who was up? How many were up for election in May 2009?
I beg your pardon? Could you repeat the question?
How many council seats were up for election in May 2009?
There's 2 up each year. It alternates. It's a 2-year term.
All right.
So in 2009, it was District 1 and District 2.
All right. Now, Russell Grant, was he one of the candidates?
Russell Grant was District 1. Russell Grant was District 2. He was running unopposed.
He was running, okay.
He was running unopposed. District 1 was the seat for the other seat in the election, and that's the seat that Reverend Roaches was running for.
And he was running as a write-in candidate.
Yes, sir. He missed the deadline to be on the ballot, so he was a write-in candidate.
So Russell Grant is running unopposed. Why would he commit vote fraud?
I believe he was helping a member of his community.
He was committing the vote fraud to help Roaches.
His pastor, and he was, and actually it's an interesting question because when I interviewed him shortly after we busted this case open in 2009, he told me he denied ever going door to door with Mr. Roaches. He denied me ever helping him campaign, ever soliciting votes for him, when in fact I spoke to more than 50 people who told me the same scenario, that they were driving around in the same vehicle, going up one block and down the other. So the contradictions were very obvious.
Nikki, I wanted to ask you something else. I'm wondering if you have any information on this. The Gonzales Canon has been covering a lot of different things going on there. One of them, the city secretary has resigned, right?
Yes, we've had 2 city secretaries. We're on our 3rd one in just as many years, yes.
And didn't the city manager? Didn't he? It seems like the city of Gonzales leadership is really in a shambles right now. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't use the word shambles because I think there are a couple of people that the city would actually improve on its government by replacing. I think we're moving forward in the right direction now, but, the whole healing process, it has to start with the truth. And if people continue to cover things up in the manner that I believe they have for decades now, then it's going to revert back, and I'd rather see it move forward. I think we're making progress. The city manager was actually fired here early last month, the first week of February, and right now we have an interim city manager, a wonderful man, very competent, very experienced. He's actually the former city manager of Victoria, who recently just retired from there. He's been gracious enough to step in. He's a Gonzales native. And so I think he is helping to lead the council and the city administration in the right direction. And I think it's just going to take a lot of good, hard questions, a lot of, still looking in the dark corners, so to speak, and keeping some people on their toes, and hopefully we won't let history repeat itself.
Nikki, we got to run, but I want to thank you so much for calling in and outstanding reporting.
Yeah, I want to say that this is really the kind of old-fashioned news journalism that we don't see from the mainstream media anymore. They just regurgitate press releases and so forth. You actually did some investigation there, Nikki, and that's really what reporting should be all about. And we really do congratulate you on your hard work and your accomplishments.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. That's something that we're very proud of. And my newspaper, the Gonzales Cannon, actually was created. We've only been publishing for a year and a half, and our paper was created out of the ashes of this investigation when I worked at another newspaper here in town, and was actually fired from that paper because of this investigation.
Really?
But it just goes to show you that tenacity and stubbornness can go a long way.
Oh, thank you very much, Nikki. I really appreciate you calling in.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I encourage everyone who wants to learn more about it to go to our website, gonzalescannon.com, and we welcome your comments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too, ma'am. Mike, can we go with the real spin? Can you help out,
Lorraine?
And
our
then
technical expert.
So this has really been a jam-packed show, Gary. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
It was
really
quite amazing. Yes.
It was a really nice interview there with Nikki.
Yeah.
I did some good, like Gary was saying, good old-fashioned reporting.
And investigation. Yeah, pretty good, yeah. And pretty solid lineup here tonight.
Absolutely. And, of course, we didn't get to it, but, Mike was saying that, this has been going on there for quite some time. At last, they're going to do something about it. That's why, I guess, why Gonzales is number 4 on your list.
Well, yeah, those draconian. By the way, Gary Johnson, ruleoflawradio.com, Sunday nights, 8 to 10 p.m., 90.1 FM. Name one thing you'd like to see the Texas legislature do this session.
Well, something I'd like to see them do, which I don't think will happen, Jeff, but is to increase incentives for the film industry.
Okay.
I mean,
fair enough. That's fair enough. Mr. Gary Johnson, what would you like to see come out of the Texas legislature?
Well, I could say I'd like for them to resign and go home, but
well, you can say that.
I think that they should get rid of this margins tax, which is it's really a corporate income tax the state has. Only it's worse than an income tax, because an income tax is a tax a business pays if it has a profit. This is a tax. It's a big tax. It was created a couple of years ago that a business pays even when it's losing money. So this margins tax, which is really hurting businesses in Texas and has become a real cash cow for the state, they need to get rid of that.
I would like to see them take the bold step and say, the hell with the federal government and the National Drug Control Act. Texas is no longer going to terrorize people with the war on drugs.
Yes. Use the 10th Amendment.
Use the 10th Amendment. That's right. Of course, the Gary knows this. The resistance to it is is these local and even state governments are making so much money. Finding they can't pull a guy over, had a bag of weed in his car, and he's looking at thousands of dollars.
They
of
take the
fines,
car,
probation, asset forfeiture. So it's a hard thing to. But if the Texas legislature wants to reduce the amount of terrorism in Texas, you can certainly do that by, like you say, using the 10th Amendment and saying you're not going to do the war on drugs anymore, because all it is just terrorizing people.
Yeah.
And okay, so here we go with the real spin out. Is this it? Okay, this is 1997. Alex Jones and myself on the old KJFK 98.9. Here we go.
In my arms. Yeah, that's Alex Jones, baby. All right, we're talking about some serious issues today. We're talking about how they got us divided. It should not be front page news that Fuzzy Zeller said something racist, even though he's an old, fat racist. Who cares about an old, fat racist that says something about an awesome man, Asian, African?
So we are still back on. We were going to be watching Jeff Davis being interviewed by or talking with Alex Jones, but the internet connection here, Gary, is just so slow that we're just looking at a freeze frame here. But we only have like 45 seconds here to kill. So Gary, what are you up to?
Well, right now I've got 2 movies to be in coming up pretty soon.
I've already unplugged all the mics.
Oh.
Here you go.
Oh.
Yeah, y'all got to share mics. Share
Okay.
mics. Share mics.
What are you doing now? You got a couple of movies.
2 feature films coming up.
Great.
And working on a TV series, a new one in Dallas.
Oh, in Dallas.
And
what's it called?
Good Bitches.
Good Bitches.
ABC.
All right, we'll check it out. Good night, everybody.